that illusion is grounded on a fear that maybe you weren't good enough to be that extended version of yourself. But you, so many of you, have been connecting with your higher expressions of self, either through your dream state, your meditation state, your acts of creativity, and your higher expressions of self are saying to you, we are you, you are us, we are one. We share that earth vessel with you. When we commune with you, we send our higher dimensional essence into your physical body to gain your physical attention. And as we send our essence into your body, you begin to feel a sensation. Now, at first you don't know what that sensation is, except that that sensation seems to occur whenever you feel deeply aligned with your own higher dimensional expressions of self. And gradually you begin to realize that when you remember to go down, down, down through your body, all the way down through your body and into the core of planet and into Gaia's core, and you share your personal energy with Gaia's planetary energy, and you intermingle your personal energy with Gaia's planetary energy, you develop a deep, deep grounding which allows your physical body to embrace and actively wear, so to speak, a higher frequency of resonance than your physical body was able to embrace before. And if you say, no, this is too much, I'm not ready, it will go away. And this is the brakes. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm not ready now. You would not get in your car and drive your car if the brakes did not work. And so this braking mechanism, where you know that you can choose when you feel safe enough to expand into those higher frequencies of light. Now, as you are Earth representatives, go through this process of determining how much of your fifth dimensional frequency of self you can integrate into your physical body and into your physical life. You give us, especially the Pleiadians, who will be the first landings, a great deal of information about how to interact with humans as they begin their landings. Now, of course, their landings have already begun, and that they are right on that cusp of the fourth, fifth dimension. And there are many more, quote, sightings now. But you wonder how you could have a group of people, and 3 people see the sightings perfectly, and then the other 20 don't see it at all. And it's because your state of consciousness must be calibrated to the frequency of the ship. And the ships are maintaining a frequency of the fifth dimension and having quick excursions into the fourth and seeing, testing the limits of how far they can go just before the forces of darkness perceive them, then they must go back up. Because they do not want the forces of darkness to perceive them, because they will take it out on the earth. They will create some kind of false flag to create massive fear, to lower people's consciousness. And you have seen that Earth has had quite a few of these false flags lately, bombings and major shootings. These were all directed by the forces of darkness to create fear, because fear lowers your consciousness. And when you have a lower state of consciousness, you're just human. And you're afraid because you're in this changing world and you are not yet, or consciously, of course you're always in connection with your higher self, but you are not yet in the state of consciousness in which you are physically aware that you are in constant communication with your fifth-dimensional self and beyond. Your fifth-dimensional self is like a portal to all of your entire multidimensional expressions of self. Now, connecting and feeling that connection to your base, to the core of Gaia, and feeling that interaction of your light body self intermingled within your third dimensional earth vessel. Just know that it is there. Now change your attention to your crown, your pineal gland. And as you open your pineal gland, the top towards the back of your head, open up your pineal gland right now to the higher frequencies of light. And you might instantly feel a burst, because these higher frequencies are very strong within this now. Very strong. But we must modulate it, because those who resonate to the darkness, if they can feel that higher frequency of light, it frightens them and it makes them angry, and then they create havoc. So we say this to you, for those of you who are saying, why don't we feel this more? Why don't we know about this more? Why don't you just show up on our lawn? We are saying that we are protecting you. They, your forces of darkness, they could not harm any of us. But in their attempts to harm us, they would harm you. Now, feeling yourself as being fully protected, connect through your crown chakra with this higher light of who you are. And feeling that higher light, allow it to come in to the crown of your pineal gland. And then you project that light onto the inner vision of your mind screen on the inside of your third eye. And this is how you will perceive how we, the higher beings, appear. For all of the challenges that you have had, and all of the challenges that you have cleared, while wearing your third dimensional body, have been documented, preserved, studied by our landing party. You are going down and being human and teaching us how humans think, how humans feel, what do humans need, what will scare the third dimensional, when is it safe for us to show our ships, how is it safe for us to show our ships, how do we determine who is ready and who is not. You, our beloved grounded ones, are giving us invaluable information that will allow us to safely land into the hearts and minds and consciousness, and even some of the landed services of beloved planet Gaia. What is actually occurring is that the 3% DNA that humanity has been using while under the third dimensional illusion that they are just physical, that third dimensional 3% of DNA is actually in the process of being, shall we say, made into a portal. That 97% DNA that is filled with light, that functions via light, is awakening. And as that 97%, which is your light body, as that 97% of DNA awakens, because that DNA is light sensitive, and that DNA is asleep to third and fourth dimensional light. However, as you allow the fifth dimensional light to come in to your physical body, that frequency of light is high enough to activate your 97% DNA. And that 97% DNA is your light body. It is your unmanifested light body. And as that DNA becomes turned on, it activates your light body. Now, your 97% DNA is connected to your fifth dimensional, multidimensional mind. So that DNA, which is within your physical body, is connected to your multidimensional mind, which is within your aura. And that DNA, it is also projecting your inner light into your aura. And so then that inner light of your aura then returns back into your DNA. In fact, there is a two-way. As the light goes out into your aura and your aura absorbs it, then it moves from your aura and into your etheric body and into the appropriate chakras that match the frequency of that light, and then into your body and into your 97% DNA. I'm going to ask the Arcturians for energetic weather report, and before I even finish the sentence, I heard hot.
I agree with that.
They will continue. Hot and humid. The energetic weather report today is that the weather is very hot and very humid. Now, the reason why we say very humid is because your Earth vessel is largely made of water. And so, therefore, just as your planet, by the way, is largely made of water. And by the way, when you are younger and when women are pregnant, the percentage of water within your body is very similar to the percentage of water on the planet. But what happens as you age, it's much like clay. With clay, you don't want it to get too hard. And so you wrap it in this filmy, netty stuff and to keep it all together. And then you get a big clay pot. You put water in the clay pot and you put the clay with the filmy, netty stuff around it inside of the clay pot with the water, and you put the lid on. That's exactly what your brain is. Your brain is a bone pot, and you have all your membranes and meninges that hold the brain together, and then you have your cerebral spinal fluid that is in between your brain and your skull. And just as if that play does not get manipulated, it begins to shrink in the pot. If you do not use your mind, it begins to shrink in your there is actual scientific proof that the brain actually becomes smaller with the aging process. Now, if they were to choose the brain of somebody who was highly activated well into their 90th year, they would see a very different brain. Because that brain is always creating new neural networks. And as the brain creates new neural networks, then your mind creates new ideas. Now, with this weather report of hot and humid, what is occurring is that as this higher frequency of light is coming into your body, you will need to make sure that your brain is well taken care of. You will need to make sure that you eat right, take whatever vitamin supplements you take, that you don't, bake yourself in the sun too much or let your head get too cold. Really think about your brain. Think about your brain. Think about you are in the process of using components of your brain that have been latent for every incarnation that you've ever had. And so therefore you are having more synaptic junctions. A synaptic junction is almost like a little lightning bolt. If you were to actually look at a synaptic junction when two different concepts merge into one flash of a synaptic junction, that would be like all the energies of light connecting, and there's lightning in the sky. So there's lightning in your head. That's what we mean when the energetic report is hot and humid, because you want to drink lots of water, have lots of fluid, because you're working your little brains. When you are sitting, meditating, doing nothing, you are using components of your brain that you have likely never used before in your entire life. So take your supplements, look at your diet. Most of all, listen to your body. What does your body want? Because there's no right way or wrong way, because everyone's got a different body. And everybody has to listen to their body, and their body will say, this is what I want. And some of these things might seem really silly, but listen, do it. If your body says do it, do it. And what we want to say to all of you, you chose when that light would go on. Each of you chose that. And you chose that because that is what best interfaced with the mission that you chose before you took this incarnation. So there is no right way to awaken. There is no wrong way to awaken. There is your way. And the biggest shift from back the beginning of this era, the early 50s on, is back then you had to have somebody tell you. No, there was no way that you a human could ever get this information. You had to have a guru. You had to go to a church of some sort. You had to pray. It wasn't in you at all. Now, you are it. So in one generation, you grew up from being a third-dimensional human that could either be smited down or may be blessed by some other beings that had nothing to do, you didn't even know who they were hardly, to now you are the creator of your reality. You create your reality with every thought that you choose to hold in your mind, and every action or inaction that you choose as a response or non-response. For as you are moving into this chaos, which will be escalating because chaos always precedes change, you are being called upon to be the calm, grounded, spiritually, higher dimensionally connected one. By one we mean however you express yourself, it doesn't matter. If you're the person that just invisibly walks through an unhappy crowd and sends invisible love and light, calming the cloud, and no one ever knows you were ever there or ever did it, great. That's wonderful. If that's your calling, do it. If you are one that will become famous and write books and have your own television show and make movies, great. That's what you chose. So there is no right or wrong way. That's the blessing of this era. It came from an era where right was right and wrong was wrong and there was nothing in between, all the way to the era that you are the creator of your reality.